My name is Steve Kirschenbaum, founder and CEO of SAT Preparation Group. I want to personally thank you for taking the time to learn the basics of the SATs and ACTs. In my opinion, the SAT and ACT test writer's goal is to get students to fall through the cracks. Very few students have the natural ability to rise to the top on their own. Even naturally smart people have a heck of a time getting to their optimal ability on their own. It's very common for us to get a student with an 1100 math and reading SAT score to 1400 and above, but it takes diligent effort to get a student to perform at his or her optimal levels. Let's focus on the SAT specifically because it contains a high frequency of tricks, deceptions, and penalties. First of all, it's a very long test. 5 hours. Most students aren't accustomed to such mental, emotional, physical, or psychological endurance. Along the way, there are many pitfalls for unsuspecting students to fall into that cause extreme stress and therefore dramatic decreased mental function. They even put a mystery section on the test that doesn't even count to the student's score. I think they do this to further annoy millions of teenagers every year. Let's start with the reading sections. Each reading section begins with at least 5 vocabulary fill-in-the-blank questions that typically go from easy difficulty to hard difficulty as the questions progress. Students are so programmed to answer every question at school that they have a very difficult time omitting the difficult vocabulary questions at the end of the section, which are often in double negative form, and then penalized for each incorrect answer. Over the entire test, this can dramatically reduce the score. Another hazard in the vocabulary is the way they get students to make forced assumptions. By announcing a particular word and then placing answer choices that students often associate with that word that have no bearing on the actual clue within the sentence itself, thus producing a lot of incorrect answers. The reading passages themselves are very sophisticated with stories that students generally find not interesting, riddled with brain-twisting names, random difficulty levels, and bunches of very challenging questions all in a row designed to intimidate and delay students. Furthermore, many of the questions are based on inference, utilizing synonyms and analogies so as to blur any direct relationships between questions and answers. In other words, it's hard. It's very common for students to run out of time in critical reading. In school, the majority of math is formulas. On the SAT, it's 100% word problems. Since most students lack critical thinking skills, this is a major problem, no pun intended. Some of the questions are downright ridiculous. Students are accustomed to solving for X, Y, or Z. But on this test, for example, they ask for things like, what is 2x plus 2y? A in terms of B and C. Y to the 2/3 in terms of x. What's one possible answer? The least possible answer. What could be the answer? What must be the answer? And math from La La Land that they make up. The writing section of the SAT is also extremely challenging. Students have to write a complete essay in only 25 minutes off the top of their heads and must deal with grammar rules that they are entirely unfamiliar with through school. On the ACT, the biggest challenges are the time constraints. You really have to be able to move quickly and efficiently to maximize your score. The good news is that it doesn't require rocket science to achieve SAT or ACT dominance. With a few skills, strategies, techniques, and pattern recognition, and a lot of consistent practice, you can realize a 300+ point score increase yourself. If you'd like more information, I have 20+ free SAT/ACT videos on frequently asked questions and lots of free content on life skills for teens and young adults that I'd love to share with you that will answer virtually every question you have about preparing for these difficult standardized tests and the real world. If you go to www.youthquest.org or www.prepsattest.com and click on the blog link, you'll have access to every one of these. Make today and every day an amazing adventure.